Hello everyone. It's been a little while since the last time I made a video for you, and I wanted to start the year off with this card. I love this card. I'm really proud of it. I came up with what I would call the recipe for this card, and I'm so proud I can't even tell you. I have called it, or named it, the Hearts Collection Easel card because of the functionality is that when you fold it, it sits up like an easel. This is what it looks like on the inside. Ooh, look at that, so cute. And there you go. Alright, so let's get started with the materials we'll be using. First, we'll be using a piece of basic black cut at 5.5 by 11 and scored at 5.5 and 2 1/4. We'll also need a piece of very vanilla cardstock cut at 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. A piece cut at 2 by 2 1/4. Another piece cut at 1 by 2 1/2. And a final piece of very vanilla cardstock cut at 3 by 4 3/4, and this piece is going to go on the inside of your card. We're also going to need a piece of the Wisteria Wonder cut at 5.5 by 5 3/4, and a really beautiful piece of Pocketful of Posies DSP cut at 1 3/4 by 4 3/4. We're going to be using the 3/8 inch ruffled ribbon in Calypso Coral. This piece is cut shorter than what I'm going to suggest you cut yours because I made that mistake. This should be cut right around 6 3/4. You might want to go longer or shorter. Kind of work with it and see what you feel is comfortable. And finally, a piece of the Wisteria Wonder Baker's Twine cut to 15 inches. So those are all of the supplies we're going to be using. Let's get started. Okay, so first I want to cut out the heart with this Wisteria Wonder, and it's the bigger scalloped heart from the Hearts Collection, the Big Shot Hearts Collection Framelits. They look like they come in this little package, and they look like this on the inside. And we're going to use this one right here, and we're also going to use this one on the Wisteria Wonder cardstock. Okay, so first things first, now just figure out which side goes how exactly on the sheet just by doing it. And in case you've never used a framelit before, see this little edge right here? That is the cutting portion. That's what will actually cut your paper. It's not sharp. You can rub your finger all over it. It's not going to hurt you, but it does a wonderful job at actually cutting your paper. So you'll just set it down on your cardstock and make sure that your heart fits in like that. If you do it like this, it's not going to fit. It's going to go over the edges. It'll actually work because of where the edges, the cutting edge is, but just do it like this. So work with it and figure out which side is which. Okay, put it on. You're going to use tab 2, a cutting plate, set the paper down, or cardstock down, take another cutting plate on and put it on top, so make a sandwich. And I actually should have, I'm going to turn this around. Blooper. Alright, crank it through. And it'll come out like this. And pop that piece off, and you'll pop the heart out, and it'll look like that. Look how pretty! Oh yay! Okay. Then you're going to use this heart, and you're just going to have to eyeball it to center the heart in the middle of the Wisteria Wonder. So I'm going to show you what I mean, but I'm probably going to have to actually do it over again once I set it down. But you'll want to just center it like that as best you can. And then one way that you can make sure that it stays is to take a Post-it note and just keep it on there like that. Okay, it won't move, it won't shift. If you're having a hard time keeping your your pieces together underneath your framelits or anything else. And then just crank it back through. Again, sandwich it like you did the first time. and you're not going to use this heart, so don't worry about it. You can just use it as scrap later, or something, an element in another card later. Alright, so once you've done that, you see, it sort of embosses it, and I'm going to actually use a pen to make a faux stitch later on. Alright, so that is that step. That's your heart. Look how cute. So perfect. I love these framelits. Okay, and while I've got this out, I'm going to go ahead and take this heart. That's the third from the outside. And we're going to cut out the very vanilla heart that is going to go on the, that's going to be like the center focal piece of the card. Again, just put it down. So just put it in, sandwich it, roll it through. Again, we've got another cutout heart. There we go. Okay, the next step is to take your Fashionable Hearts Embosslit, which looks like this, and your 2 by 2 1/4 piece of very vanilla cardstock. And you're going to run it through your Big Shot. You're going to take one plate and put it on the bottom. You're going to use 0 tabs. You're not going to use any tabs on your platform. You're going to take your Embosslit and another plate, and you're just going to roll it through. And what you'll have is this. So you'll just peel the hearts off and kind of punch them all out. And then what I did is I used my Blushing Bride Stampin' Right marker, and I just colored in all of the embossed raised surfaces, except for this one. I just didn't use the Argyle print. Alright, so you're just going to take the marker and using all of the raised surfaces, you're going to color those in so that I'll show you what they look like when I'm done with it. Okay, I'm not sure how well this will come up on the camera, but I'm going to try and show you how to color in the raised embossed portions of the hearts. Alright, so I was mistaken. It is not Blushing Bride, it's Regal Rose. Forgive my mistake. Okay, so you just kind of go in and color each of the raised embossed portions, or I don't know what you want to call that, but anything that is raised, a raised part of the surfaces of the hearts is what you want to color in. That's how that one looks. Turn it around for you. Just like that. So that's what that looks like. Alright. Okay, this is what these look like when they're done. Okay, I preset this part up because it takes a little while for me to get everything aligned the way I want it. The best way I can tell you to do it is just to eyeball it. And what we're going to use now is one of the accents, the Adorning accents from the new Adorning Accents Edgelits, which they come with 2 of them, as you've seen in the Occasions Mini. One is this, and then the other one is this, Scallop Edge. Oh my god, I love this thing! It is so perfect. Look at that detail right there. That is just gorgeous. I love it. Okay, so I've preset it up, and now I'm going to put you'll use tab 2, and so go with tab 2, a cutting plate, the paper, the Adorning accent, probably a piece of post-it note just to hold it still, hold it steady on there, and crank it through. This is the very lovely that it looks like. I just love this so much. This is one of my favorite things now. The next step is to take that Pocketful of Posies piece, and using the Textured Impressions embossing folders, the Adorning accents, looks like that, and they come in 3. I've already, again, preset mine because it's just easier to do it that way. So these are the other 2 it comes with. So cute, hearts and the scallop, love it. Okay, what I've done is I've actually used Post-it notes to hold. Once I got it in place, I kind of just slipped the Post-it notes underneath and pressed them down real tight to hold the paper, because again, it will shift a little bit, and it's just best if you can kind of secure it before you send it through. And you're going to use tab 1, a plate, your pieces, and another plate, and just roll it through. And wait till you see what this does. Oh my god, I can't even tell you how much I love this. This is so perfect. The embossing on this is so rich. If that's a good word to use, I don't know. It's perfect. The raise is just, it's perfect. I love it. I love the level it gives. I don't even know how to explain that or describe it, but I love it. I really do. Okay, and now we're using the Edgelit's Adorning Accents, the scallop piece. I've put all my stuff out, tab 2, cutting board, pieces, cutting plate again, and roll it through. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Oh my god, I love it. It's so beautiful. I love this, the detail on the scallops. Love it. Okay. Okay, I actually had to redo this step because I was using the Post-it note and some of it got stuck on the first one that I did right there, and you can kind of see Post-it note indentation. So use the Post-it note at your discretion. If it works out great for you, that's great. That one didn't work out so well for me. Okay, so you would line it up like that, and when you're done, the adhesive off. Looks like that. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. I love that. It's such a perfect accent. I just love it to pieces. Okay, now we're going to take the 1 by 2.5 inch piece, and we're going to be using the Be My Valentine stamp and this tag stamp from the P.S. I Love You stamp set. Also in the New Occasions Mini. I love this set. And first you're gonna take the tag stamp, and using Wisteria Wonder, you're gonna ink it up. Stamp it down. Okay. And then the Be My Valentine stamp, the Melon Mambo Ink. Stamp that down, center it out a little bit, best you can. And stamp it down. Okay, then you're going to take the extra large modern label punch. And you'll just punch that tag out. And there's actually, I love my Post-it notes. You can use them to hold smaller pieces if they're too small to actually, if you've cut them or you're using a piece of scrap paper or whatever and they're too small to actually cut, to actually hold. My cat's talking to a bird. I don't know if you can hear her. Anyways, you would just use Post-it note as sort of a handle for it. And punch that out. And if you have any, hopefully you didn't get any Post-it note on it, but when you cut it out, but it'll look like that. Just like that. She's cracking me up. I don't know if you can hear that, but maybe let's see here if we can get you over there. Excuse my mess. Of course she's not doing it now. There's a bird or a squirrel or something out there that she sees and she's chittering. There she goes. Okay, back to work. Okay, the next step is to take the heart die cut in the Very Vanilla, and you might just want to adhere it to the back of the Wisteria Wonder, just to kind of keep it in a position where you get everything lined correctly. We're going to use the Love stamp from the Outlined Occasion stamp set, and that you'll be able to get out of the Celebration brochure starting January 24th, which is very soon from now. And this is what that Love stamp looks like. Alright, and you're going to ink it up really well in the Stays On ink. And make sure... stamp it down. I might have messed that up, but I hope not. And then what you're going to want to do is take your Regal Rose Stampin' Right marker, and you're going to color in these little hearts. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is do a little faux stitch around this part of the heart, and then around the Wisteria Wonder where it's got that kind of embossed part from where you cut that center heart out. It's just really lightly embossed, but I like to add the faux stitch detail to it because I think it kind of makes it pop. So again, I'm going to use the Regal Rose Stampin' Right marker, and I'm going to use the fine point tip on it, and I'm just going to work on that. And if you can see that, that's what that looks like. Kind of perfect. Okay, so I'm going to use this stamp, which is this one, from the I Heart Hearts stamp set, which you can find in the IB&C, which means Idea, Book, and Catalog, and the Wisteria Wonder ink pad. Beautiful. And then you're going to take the P.S. I Love You stamp from the P.S. I Love You stamp set, and the Wisteria Wonder ink again. Just ink it up real well. Stamp it down. Oops. Perfect. Love it. Alright, so the next step is to take a two-way glue pen, and actually I prefer this one only because it's got a fine tip like that, and I don't think that Stampin' Up! Sells anything like it right now, so if you want to go to Michael's and get one, otherwise I think it'll work fine if you use the more blunt tip from Stampin' Up! But you're going to take, just kind of dot it on to the dots of the Love stamp. Alright, take some Dazzling Diamonds, sprinkle it on. Tap it off. And that's what that looks like. So pretty. I love it. I love how sparkly it is. Okay. There we go. Alright. Reinforce the fold. And reinforce the other fold. And it'll sit up just like that. Okay, next I'm going to take this heart from the I Heart Hearts stamp set and ink it up in the Wisteria Wonder ink pad. And just ink it up real well. And I'm just going to do little random hearts on on the front of the Wisteria Wonder. And then I'm going to take the Wisteria Wonder Baker's Twine, and I'm just going to tie it around. You're going to do it like, you're going to sort of tie it around and triplicate. So once, twice, and this is the third time where you tie the bow. Okay, so I was having all kinds of issues with this video. The battery was running low. I feel like it has already taken far too long to complete. So I assembled it, and I'm just going to go over with you how I did that. Okay, so the first step is to assemble the the Very Vanilla cardstock using dimensionals to the Wisteria Wonder. And then using dimensionals again, adhere the Wisteria Wonder and the Whisper White to the base of the card, but you only want to put the dimensionals on the back of the Wisteria Wonder, right about here, here, and here. So it would be on the back, at the point and two sides, and you'll kind of figure out where its placement is by testing it out. Okay, I adhered the hearts, these 3 hearts, using dimensionals. So dimensional, dimensional, dimensional. I used a glue dot to adhere this heart to the ribbon, to the bow. And I kind of feel like it sort of holds the bow in place. So if it's a little wonky before you put the heart on there, you should be able to kind of position it once you put the heart with the glue dot on it. Next step would be to glue the inside in. And I also forgot to show you with the base of the card, I used a corner rounder just on these 2 corners. So right where you would do the easel fold, use a corner rounder to round off those corners. I used dimensionals to adhere this piece to this piece, and dimensionals to adhere this piece to the base. And I actually used 3 dimensionals on this piece, so 1 here, 1 in the center, and 1 there. And then this piece I used 2 dimensionals, 1 on each edge. I believe that is it. If you have any questions, please feel free to put any questions either in my comments or message me on YouTube. It's completely up to you. I will be very happy to help you out with anything I can. I know that I kind of breezed over some of this stuff and bumbled through a lot of it, so I'm sure that you might have questions or concerns or think, what the heck is she doing right now? But I assure you that if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Until next time, happy stamping!